Lu Xia had just been bragging to his mother on the phone, telling her that he now made 10 million yuan a year. Then, the very next second, a bank notification appeared on his phone. 10 million yuan had actually been deposited into his account. Right after that, he casually bragged that he had already spent 3 million yuan on a Mercedes-Benz G63. The next second, he suddenly felt his pocket grow heavier. He reached inside and pulled out a beautifully made Mercedes key that had appeared in his palm out of nowhere. But just 3 minutes earlier, he had only 356.5 yuan left in his bank account. He had been sitting in his tiny rental, staring at a half-finished meal on the table, sweating over rent and living expenses. Lu Xia never imagined that he would awaken something called the post-reality system. As long as someone believed what he bragged about, and that person's belief level reached more than 50%, there was a chance his boast would instantly become reality. It all started with the phone call from his mother just moments earlier. She had asked gently, "Son, are you running short on money lately? If you really need some, just tell me. I still have 5,000 yuan in savings. I can transfer it to you first." Hearing that, Lu Xia felt his nose sting. His mother did not have much money herself, yet she was still worried about him. He got emotional, and once again his mouth ran ahead of his brain. "Mom, who do you think your son is now? I'm a big boss making 10 million yuan a year. I bought a Mercedes ages ago. And not just any Mercedes. A G63. The 3 million yuan kind. On the other end of the line." His mother immediately cried out in delight. "Really? My son finally made something of himself." But she quickly turned serious again. "Then you absolutely have to come home for Chinese New Year this year. Your sister says she may work during winter break and might not come back. If you don't come home either, what kind of New Year would that be?" After hanging up, Lu Xia collapsed. The bragging had felt great in the moment. Now he was drowning in despair. A 3 million yuan Mercedes G63? Where was he supposed to get one? Lu Xia grabbed his hair, buried his face in the pillow, and shouted, "Why did heaven give me a mouth that loves to brag?" At that moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded inside his head. Powerful and genuine boasting behavior detected. Post-reality system activating. Activation successful. Lu Xia shot upright on the bed. Before he could react, the system continued, analyzing the host's recent boasts. Boast. Annual income of 10 million yuan. Target individuals. Parents. Belief level. High. Realization conditions satisfied. Congratulations. Host. You have received 10 million yuan in cash. The next second, his phone screen lit up. A bank message popped up. Account ending in 9527. Deposit received. 10.000.000 yuan. Current balance. 10.000.356.50 yuan. Lu Xia stared at the number for a long time. 10 million? An actual 10 million? He pinched himself hard. It hurt. It was real. And that was only the beginning. Second boast. Host has already purchased a Mercedes-Benz G63. Parents' belief level meets the requirement. Boast is being realized. Congratulations. Host, you have received one Mercedes-AMG G63. Vehicle paperwork and key have been delivered to the host's pocket. Lu Xia's pocket suddenly sagged. He reached inside and found a heavy luxury car key resting in his palm. He was completely stunned. 1 minute ago, he had been a broke young man who could not even scrape together a few hundred yuan for rent. 1 minute later, he had 10 million yuan in cash in a Mercedes G63. Lu Xia gripped the key tightly. At last, he understood the system's real rule. As long as someone believed his boast, there was a chance it could become reality. If that was the case, as long as he had the nerve to brag big enough, couldn't he eventually brag the whole world into his hands? His heartbeat quickened. Lu Xia grabbed his coat and hurried downstairs, eager to see his G63. Just then, his phone vibrated. The university class group chat, which had been dead for years, had suddenly come alive. Class President Wang Kai tagged everyone. "Guys, dinner at the Bun number 3 this Saturday night. My treat. Nobody's allowed to skip it." The Bun number 3 was famous for being expensive. A single person could easily spend several thousand yuan on one meal there. The group instantly filled with flattery. In the past, Lu Xia would have avoided a gathering like this at all costs. But things were different now. He had a G63 key in his pocket. He was about to close the chat when he accidentally tapped the screen and sent an emoji of someone patting Wang Kai on the shoulder. The group fell silent. Wang Kai quickly replied in a mocking tone. Well, look who it is. Lu Xia. Too busy delivering takeout after graduation to read messages from your old classmates? A few of his lackeys joined in. He doesn't even own a car. Does he? I've never seen so much as a steering wheel photo on his moments. Lu Xia replied calmly. I was looking at a car just now. Didn't notice the messages. The group exploded with laughter. Looking at a car? You mean a new electric scooter for food deliveries? Wang Kai even deliberately brought up Lin Wan, the prettiest girl from their college days, to needle him, and offered to reimburse Lu Xia's taxi fare. Lu Xia's gaze slowly turned cold. Since Wang Kai was so determined to humiliate himself, Lu Xia was happy to oblige. He replied, Fine, I'll be there. Wang Kai immediately moved the dinner up to just 2 hours later and even reminded him, try to dress a little better. Lu Xia put down his phone and looked in the mirror. His clothes really were ordinary. If he was going to make a big entrance, he at least needed something that looked the part. He rummaged through the closet and found a fake Patek Philippe he had bought for 200 yuan 2 years ago. Looking into the mirror, Lu Xia said loudly, This is a special limited edition Patek Philippe I bought at a top-tier auction. Nothing happened. The system spoke. 2 conditions must be met for a boast to become reality. First, at least one other person must be present. Second, at least one person must believe the boast at a level of 50% or higher. In addition, the system cannot realize claims that violate life, death, or fundamental biological laws. Lu Xia looked at the cheap fake watch on his wrist and sighed helplessly. Apparently, bragging alone in his room did nothing. Still, the watch looked convincing from a distance. With its blue dial under the right lighting, it could pass for something impressive as long as nobody studied it too closely. He fastened it around his wrist. I'll improvise the rest when I get there. He went downstairs and pressed the key fob. The lights of a matte black Mercedes G63 parked by the curb suddenly flashed on like a beast opening its eyes. The engine roared to life. Not long afterward, Lu Xia arrived at the Bund number 3. A group of his college classmates was standing outside the hotel. Most of the men wore suits, and the women had dressed carefully for the occasion. At the center of the group stood Wang Kai. He was dressed head to toe in Armani, with a Rolex on his wrist. He was proudly telling everyone how he had effortlessly made 2 or 3 million yuan that year. Then came the low growl of an engine. A matte black G63 slowly pulled up to the hotel entrance. Everyone turned to look. A few of the women even instinctively fixed their hair. Wang Kai muttered, Wonder which rich family's kid that is. The door opened. Lu Xia stepped out wearing ordinary pants and a simple sweatshirt. Everyone froze. Lu Xia? Wang Kai's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Moments ago, everyone had been joking that Lu Xia probably hated spending money even on a taxi. Now he had shown up in a G63. But Wang Kai quickly found an explanation that made sense to him. Laughing, he walked over and patted Lu Xia on the shoulder. Man, you really went all out just for a class reunion. Renting this thing must cost 5,000 or 6,000 yuan a day, right? The others heard that and decided it made sense. Someone started laughing again. Spending thousands just to show off for one night? That's commitment. Lu Xia calmly locked the SUV, twirling the key around one finger. What? You're allowed to buy a car, but I can only rent one? Wang Kai's face darkened. Then his eyes landed on Lu Xia's wrist. Everybody, look! A Patek Philippe Nautilus, the limited Tiffany Blue edition. He shouted with exaggerated excitement. A real one is worth tens of millions of yuan on the market, and you can barely get one anywhere in the world. Don't tell me yours cost 20 yuan at some street stall? Lu Xia looked around at everyone and said calmly, This is the Tiffany Blue limited edition that's sold at auction. It's normal that you wouldn't recognize it. The system immediately spoke, calculating belief levels of nearby individuals. Some individuals currently have low belief levels. Overall belief level continuing to rise. Lu Xia smiled faintly. In his mind, he gave the order, turn it into the real top-tier limited edition. The next instant, his wrist suddenly felt heavier. The cheap metallic feel vanished. The case, movement, dial, and every tiny detail silently transformed. Wang Kai did not notice. He held out his hand. If it's real, then take it off and let me see it. He was convinced that the moment he got the watch in his hands and inspected it carefully, he could expose Lu Xia on the spot. Lu Xia raised an eyebrow. He took off the watch. now worth tens of millions of yuan, and casually tossed it toward him. Here, take your time. Wang Kai panicked and caught it with both hands, but when he turned the watch over and saw the movement, serial number, and craftsmanship on the back, his smile slowly disappeared. No way. Is this some kind of super clone? Lu Xia adjusted his sleeve. Done looking? Don't break it. The people around them were dead silent, no matter how they looked at it. The watch did not seem fake. Wang Kai could only force himself to say, even if it looks real, it's still fake. I could have someone make something like this too. Lu Xia took the watch back and put it on. If you like it, I can ask around for you. We came here to eat. Don't ruin the mood over something this minor. Wang Kai was about to turn and walk into the hotel when a Rolls-Royce Phantom with a special license plate suddenly stopped at the entrance. A foreign man in a suit stepped out. His gaze passed over Lu Xiao's wrist. The next second, his eyes widened sharply. My God! Is that the number 01 Tiffany Blue Nautilus? I'm an executive with Patek Philippe Greater China. Sir, may I take a look at your watch? Even Lu Xia could not help complaining inwardly. Had the system seriously arranged for a professional authenticator to show up too? All his classmates were stunned. Wang Kai, meanwhile, was desperately praying in his head. Fake. Please let it be fake. The foreign man took out a professional loupe and examined the watch carefully for a long time. Then even his hands began to tremble slightly. My God, this isn't just a standard limited edition. This is the legendary number 01 King version. The one that was specially commissioned for a private client. Everyone fell silent again. Wang Kai's face went pale. Then, as if grabbing his last lifeline, he burst out laughing. Not bad. Lu Xia, now you're even hiring foreign actors? How much are you paying him per day? Some of the others had started to waver too, but then one classmate suddenly pulled out his phone. Wait, he really is an executive for Patek Philippe Greater China. I watched an interview with him a few days ago. Same face, same tie-dye, everything matches. And look at that Rolls-Royce's plate. You think he rented that just to act in your little show? Wang Kai was completely dumbfounded. The foreign man ignored him and respectfully handed Lu Xia a business card. Mr. Lu, would you mind taking a photo with me in the watch? My colleagues are going to lose their minds when they see it. Wang Kai could not take it anymore. He rushed over. How much did he pay you? I'll double it. Tell the truth. The foreign man's expression immediately hardened. Sir, I have worked in this industry for 30 years and handled hundreds of the world's finest watches. You are not only insulting Mr. Lu's taste, you are insulting my profession. Wang Kai could not say a word. Even more humiliating. The man then handed him his phone. Would you mind taking a photo of Mr. Lu and me? Wang Kai had no choice but to play photographer for them. After the photo, the executive warmly invited Lu Xia to a private collectors gathering that evening. It was the kind of elite circle even ordinary wealthy people had difficulty entering. Lu Xia waved him off. No thanks. I came to have dinner with old classmates today. I don't want to disrupt everyone's plans. The foreign man was visibly disappointed. Before leaving, he glanced at Wang Kai's Rolex and frowned. The numerals and finishing on your watch look a little off. That doesn't appear to be factory workmanship. Wang Kai hurriedly pulled his wrist back. It's an old model. I dropped it before and had it repaired. The man did not bother responding. He turned, got into the car, and left. The crowd immediately started whispering. He spent all that time laughing at someone else for wearing a fake watch. And his is the fake one? That's brutal. Lu Xia merely waved a hand. Let's go inside and eat. The class president is treating us. We shouldn't waste it. Wang Kai, who had always occupied the seat of honor before, was pushed all the way to the seat closest to the door. Lu Xia, meanwhile, was invited to sit in the central seat of honor. His classmates' attitudes toward him had changed completely. Some started reminiscing about the old days, even inventing stories about how Lu Xia had supposedly helped them in college. Lu Xia could not be bothered to expose them. Before long, a female classmate named Lily pulled her chair closer to his. She stared at Lu Xiao's watch. Lu, that watch is gorgeous. What does it feel like? Her fingers brushed lightly against his hand. Lu Xia immediately lifted his water glass and moved his hand away. Just metal, not even as light as a smartwatch. Lily continued. So what do you do now? If you ever get the chance, help the rest of us out too. The whole private room fell silent. Everyone perked up their ears. Wang Kai, sitting in the corner, stared at Lu Xia, waiting for him to slip up. The truth was, until that very day, Lu Xia had still been an ordinary food delivery rider, but he leaned back in his chair, looking perfectly calm. Right now, I mainly work on daily supply and on-demand delivery networks across different industries. Someone asked. Logistics? Lu Xia shook his head. Logistics is only a small part of it. More precisely, it's an integrated transportation service system built on big data algorithms. I have a team of several hundred people connecting restaurant brands, supermarkets, consumers, and all kinds of on-demand purchasing scenarios. Everyone bought it. Several hundred people? Then your company's revenue must be insane. Lu Xia took a sip of tea. I don't pay much attention to revenue figures. Let's just say we work very closely with major online platforms. Half true, half false. Lu Xia really did deal with delivery platforms every day. He had simply been the guy riding a scooter and delivering the food. But in everyone else's mind, his words automatically turned into the image of a huge internet logistics company. Wang Kai suddenly asked, if the company's that big, why don't you take us on a tour tomorrow? Lu Xia nearly cursed out loud in his head. A tour? Was he supposed to take them to a morning huddle of delivery riders? But his expression did not change at all. That won't be convenient. The company is negotiating its Series C round right now, and a lot of confidential data is involved. Outsiders aren't allowed in for the time being. Besides, I rarely go to the office myself. Day-to-day operations are systematized. I mostly just sign off on things. Someone immediately defended him. It's a tech company, not your family's construction site. You can't just walk in whenever you want. Wang Kai was silenced again. Then the system spoke. Checking belief levels. Multiple individuals exceed the required threshold. Host claims to own a high-end technology company. Boast is being realized. Congratulations. Host, you now own 100% of a high-end technology company. Lu Xia nearly lost his grip on his teacup. There was really a company now. That worked too? From that point on, the gathering practically became Lu Xia's personal showcase. Lin Wan, the prettiest girl from their college days, walked over on her own and asked to add his contact information. Back in college, men used to line up to chase her, and she might not even acknowledge them. Now she was voluntarily telling Lu Xia she wanted to ask him about logistics. Seeing that, the others pulled out their phones too. Lu, add me too. If there's business later, don't forget us. Wang Kai sat in the corner, so jealous he actually snapped a pair of chopsticks. Later, he started wondering whether Lu Xia had won the lottery. So Lu Xia simply kept bragging. Actually, I know a very mysterious business tycoon. He thinks highly of me. He says I'm a business genius. Whenever I like a project, he supports it unconditionally. Take my current company. I only suggested that he invest. He ended up buying the entire company and giving it to me. Everyone around him was shocked again. One person genuinely sighed. That's beyond having a powerful benefactor. He practically treats you like his own son. Lu Xia raised his glass. Don't make me sound that impressive. I've had hard times too. All I'm saying is, if even I, Lu Xia, could make it, then everyone sitting here today has a chance to succeed. Applause broke out. Even Lin Wan was looking at him differently now. 3 hours later, dinner ended. The server brought the check to Wang Kai. The total was over 140.000 yuan. Wang Kai instantly sobered up halfway. How much? He pulled out a black card. First swipe. Insufficient funds. Second card. Transaction declined. Everyone's expressions turned strange. Lu Xia sighed. If it's inconvenient right now, I can cover it first. To Wang Kai, that line hurt more than a direct insult. Who said I don't have money? There's just something wrong with the bank card. Humiliated and angry, he demanded to see the manager. Before long, Manager Li arrived. Wang Kai immediately regained his confidence. It turned out his father dined there often, and Manager Li knew the family. In the end, the manager gave him a 12% discount. Wang Kai finally recovered a little pride. See that? When you're out in the real world, money alone isn't enough. Connections are what matter. Your real level is determined by your network and background. Lu Xia smiled. Connections are important. Of course, but a 12% discount doesn't seem like much to brag about. Wang Kai sneered. If you're so capable, go ask the actual owner for a discount. Lu Xia thought for a moment. Actually, I'm on pretty good terms with the owner. If he were here, we probably wouldn't have to pay for dinner at all. He might even insist on opening a couple of good bottles for me. Wang Kai nearly doubled over laughing. Do you even know who the owner is? Zhang Jigang. He's worth billions of yuan. You're friends with him? Even Manager Li frowned. Sir, I've never heard Mr. Zhang mention your name, Lu Xia said calmly. About half a year ago, Mr. Zhang ran into some serious trouble. I happened to be passing by and helped him out. According to him, I suppose you could call it saving his life. Wang Kai burst out laughing again. This time, however, not everyone joined him. After all, one after another, the ridiculous things Lu Xia had said earlier had turned out to be true. Someone even said, Lu owns a big company himself now. He has no reason to tell a lie this easy to expose. The system notification sounded. Belief requirement satisfied. Reality is being rewritten so that the host previously helped Zhang Jigang and rendered him a life-changing service. Lu Xia almost laughed. Wang Kai took the expression as nervousness and immediately told Manager Li to call security and throw him out. Lu Xia pulled out his phone. The system had already generated Zhang Jigang's number for him. He put the call on speaker and dialed. The call connected. Who is this? Lu Xia said. It's me, Lu Xia. The other end was silent for 2 seconds. Then the voice suddenly became excited. Brother Lu? Is it really you? I've been looking everywhere for you. The entire private room fell silent. Lu Xia continued. I'm eating at one of your restaurants right now. The manager here says someone like me couldn't possibly know you. Now he's about to call security and have me thrown out. The voice on the other end instantly turned furious. Who has that kind of nerve? Stay right there. I'm coming over now. The call ended. Sweat immediately broke out on Manager Li's forehead. Less than 10 minutes later, the private room door flew open. Zhang Jigang himself rushed in, breathing hard. The moment he saw Lu Xia, he grabbed both of his hands. Brother Lu, I finally found you. If it hadn't been for you last time, I don't know what would have happened. Then he turned to Manager Li, his expression instantly turning icy. You're the one who wanted to throw my brother out? Manager Li's knees nearly gave out. He hurriedly pointed at Wang Kai. Mr. Zhang. It was the Wang family's son who told me to do it. Zhang Jigang turned to Wang Kai. So you're that spoiled kid from the Wang family. Very good. I'll remember this. I'll personally ask your father later how he raised his son. Wang Kai's face turned ghostly pale. Zhang Jigang then turned back to Lu Xia with a smile. Brother Lu, dinner is on me tonight. From now on, you eat free at any restaurant I own. And everyone sitting here today is your friend. Whenever they dine at one of my restaurants, they'll get 40% off. The room erupted again. Wang Kai had strained every connection he had just to get a 12% discount. With a single sentence, Lu Xia had gotten everyone a 40% discount. Wang Kai finally tried to force the restaurant to take his money so he could save some face. The manager did not dare accept it. Mr. Wang, Mr. Zhang made it very clear that tonight's dinner is his way of showing respect to Mr. Lu. If we take your money, it would actually look like we were disrespecting Mr. Lu. Wang Kai was completely trapped. If he paid, he would be going against Mr. Zhang's wishes. If he did not pay, it would look as if he could not afford the bill at all. In the end, he could only leave in humiliation. After the gathering ended, Lin Wan caught up with Lu Xia. Lu Xia, are you planning to drive back home for Chinese New Year? Lu Xia nodded. Lin Wan hesitated. Then, could I ride with you? We're going the same way anyway. And I'd like to save some travel money. They came from the same hometown. Lu Xia was about to answer when a BMW suddenly shot over and slammed on the brakes beside them. The window rolled down. Wang Kai was inside, his face flushed from drinking. Wan, get in. I'll drive you. Lin Wan frowned. You're this drunk and you're still driving? That's illegal. Wang Kai kept pestering her. Lu Xia stepped directly in front of Lin Wan. I don't know whether the earth is round, but I do know the holding cell at the police station has 4 walls. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. Mr. Zhang just happened to give me a police officer's contact information too. At the mention of Zhang Jigang, Wang Kai sobered up halfway. He glared viciously at Lu Xia. Fine, Lu Xia. You win this time. We'll see what happens later. Then he drove off. Lin Wan let out a breath of relief. Thanks. I kind of used you as a shield just now. Lu Xia tossed her the G63 key. No problem. You drive. Lin Wan nearly dropped it. Why me? Didn't you say you wanted to save money? Then you can be the driver while you're at it. Lin Wan was so annoyed she wanted to throw the key back at his head. But remembering how he had just helped her, she forced herself to hold back. She got into the driver's seat. Driving a G63 worth several million yuan gave her a strange feeling she could not quite describe. Along the way, she kept stealing glances at Lu Xia. Lu Xia, everything you said at dinner, was it all true? That tech company really belongs to you? Lu Xia kept his eyes closed. Does it matter whether it's true or not? It's a business secret. Better not to know too much. Lin Wan found him more mysterious by the minute. She continued. Do your parents know how successful you are now? Not yet. I'm planning to surprise them when I go home for New Year. Lu Xia reminded her not to spread the word when they got back to the village. Lin Wan agreed. Just as she dropped him off, his phone automatically connected to an incoming call through the car's Bluetooth. A woman's extremely pleasant voice came through the speakers. Mr. Lu, I hope I'm not disturbing you by calling this late. Lin Wan instantly stiffened. The woman continued. Everyone at the company is waiting for you. Also, the tie you left with me before, I've washed it. When you come to the office, shall I tie it for you myself? Or, would you like me to bring it to your home? Lin Wan's expression changed immediately. Lu Xia nearly choked too. What kind of assistant had the system assigned him? He quickly cleared his throat. Assistant Su. Is there anything else? The woman chuckled. I'm kidding. The custom tie you ordered arrived. I left it on your desk. Lu Xia immediately hung up. The car fell silent. Lin Wan asked with a distinctly sour tone. Who is that? My new personal assistant. She talks pretty casually. Oh, she certainly does. Lin Wan unbuckled her seat belt. I'm leaving. We'll talk about riding home together some other time. She slammed the door and walked away. Lu Xia watched her irritated back and shook his head helplessly. Then he returned to his rental room. Barely more than 10 square meters. To pack his things. His landlord happened to come by. Lu Xia, are you trying to disappear on me? You still owe me the last 2 months' rent. If this had been yesterday, Lu Xia probably could only have lowered his head and begged for a few more days. But now he had 10 million yuan in his account. He transferred 12.500 yuan directly to the landlord. That covered the unpaid rent, utilities, and several thousand extra. The landlord stared at the payment notification in shock. You got rich? You didn't do anything illegal, did you? I'm not taking dirty money. Lu Xia laughed. Relax. I changed jobs. A big company paid me in advance. The landlord studied him for a long time. Well, that's good. When you become somebody important, don't forget your old uncle here. Lu Xia picked up the ordinary duffel bag that had been with him for 2 years and walked out of the cramped rental room. The next day, he was no longer an ordinary food delivery rider on an electric scooter. The destination on his map was now 0 Degree Technology Company, Ltd. The G63 drove into the business park. A luxurious glass office building with a futuristic design appeared in front of him. Lu Xia stared up at the company logo on the roof and swallowed hard. Just last week, he had delivered coffee here for someone. Back then, the building had not even been fully renovated. Now it had somehow become his company. The system's ability to rewrite reality was terrifying. Lu Xia straightened his newly purchased business clothes and walked into the lobby. The receptionist politely stopped him. Sir, please sign in. Who do you have an appointment with? Lu Xia did not know how to answer for a moment. I'm the owner. Just then, a calm woman's voice came from the direction of the elevators. He doesn't need to sign in. The click of high heels against the marble floor drew closer. The receptionist immediately stood straighter. Good morning, Executive Assistant Su. Lu Xia turned around. A striking young woman in a dark gray business suit was walking toward him. It was Su Yao, the woman from the phone call the night before. She looked him over. Mr. Lu is younger than I expected. Lu Xia forced himself to stay calm. Take me to my office. Su Yao nodded. All company departments have been fully established. All department heads are in place. You hold 100% of the company's decision-making authority. The elevator went directly to the top floor. Inside the enormous CEO office, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked nearly the entire business park. Lu Xia gave only a casual comment. Not bad. Su Yao checked the time. The department heads are already waiting for you. They want to know your plans for the new year. What time would you like to hold the meeting? Lu Xia's heart almost stopped. Plans? He did not even know what the company actually did. But outwardly, he remained completely calm. 3 this afternoon. I'll review the materials first. After Su Yao left, Lu Xia collapsed into the executive chair. How is being a boss more exhausting than carrying 2 cases of water up 6 flights of stairs? He started reading through the company files. The more he read, the more overwhelmed he became. Head of Technology, Chen Mo. former top technical expert at a major internet corporation, known as a programming genius. Reason for joining: his previous company cafeteria did not serve his favorite dish on Tuesdays. Head of marketing: Linda Wang, graduate of a world-famous university, former global partner at a top investment bank. Reason for joining: she disliked the direction her old office faced. Head of operations: former NASA data analyst. Reason for joining: did not like the previous boss. Head of logistics: formerly in charge of military operations in a certain region. Reason for joining: wanted to stop living a dangerous life. Finally, his personal assistant, Su Yao, 2 master's degrees from Cambridge, previously managed a top family trust. Her reason for joining was listed as, believes the company has enormous future potential. Lu Xia finally breathed a sigh of relief. At last, one normal explanation. Then a line of golden text appeared underneath. Note: the host's management ability is extremely weak, creating a very high risk of corporate failure. The system has therefore specially assigned a top-tier assistant to support the host. Lu Xia nearly jumped out of his chair. System? Who are you calling weak? The golden text vanished instantly. Before long, Su Yao returned. When she discovered Lu Xia did not even know how to tie a necktie, she stepped in front of him and fixed it herself. As she tied it, she said quietly, "A tie is a man's second face." At the meeting, employees will judge the boss's personality from details like this. Lu Xia stood rigidly, not daring to move. At 3 in the afternoon, his first senior management meeting officially began. All the department heads stood. "Good afternoon, Mr. Lu," imitating what he had seen in movies. Lu Xia silently looked across the room for 2 seconds. "Sit." The effect was surprisingly good. Instead of finding it awkward, everyone thought he was unfathomably deep. Chen Mo, the head of technology, spoke first. "Mr. Lu, there are several technical issues with the LSP big data system you proposed. We'd like your guidance." Lu Xia's palms began to sweat. How was he supposed to know what LSP even meant? Normally, the only tech terms he dealt with were likes, favorites, and follows on short video apps. But now everyone was waiting for him. Lu Xia had no choice but to stand and bluff his way through. "Chen Mo, you're asking me what the foundation is. Then let me ask you, what do you think the foundation is?" Chen Mo answered seriously. "Space? Time? Or information volume?" Lu Xia shook his head as though disappointed. "Your understanding is still at the surface level. We can't look only at the problem itself. We have to look at the essence behind the problem." The more he spoke, the less substance there was. Eventually, even he had no idea what he was saying. "What we need to do today is what should be done today. Yesterday is today's yesterday. And tomorrow is today's tomorrow." Chen Mo's eyes suddenly widened. "I understand. Mr. Lu is telling me to break through the limitations of time. We shouldn't treat time as a fixed framework. We should turn it into a system resource." The corner of Lu Xia's eye twitched. He got all that from what I just said. Lu Xia could only nod. Good insight. Everyone else frantically took notes. Linda even sighed in admiration. This is Eastern business philosophy. People on Wall Street will never understand this kind of thinking. Applause filled the conference room. Then Lu Xia discovered something remarkable. All he had to do was say things that sounded profound but had no clear meaning. These elite professionals would automatically build a logical interpretation around them. They could even turn his nonsense into genuinely useful solutions. After the meeting, Su Yao placed a document on his desk. "Mr. Lu, based on the strategy you just outlined, I've organized a detailed implementation plan." Lu Xia looked down. Smart delivery system upgrades, last-mile network optimization, big data dispatching. Everything was written in extremely professional detail. He stared at her in disbelief. "You actually understood what I was saying in there?" Su Yao answered with complete honesty. "No, I'm simply good at turning a boss's empty talk into normal business logic." Lu Xia instantly decided this assistant was priceless. From now on, anything that requires that much thinking goes to you. Before leaving, Su Yao suddenly turned back. "Mr. Lu, if you really can't think of anything to say next time, you can also choose silence. Sometimes silence looks more profound than nonsense." She winked and walked out. Lu Xia sat in his office thinking for a long time. This woman, was she interested in him? Just then, his mother called again. "Are you coming home this year or not?" "I am. I'll drive back." The moment she heard that, his mother started worrying about gas money. She kept telling Lu Xia not to waste money, but a moment later, She mentioned that the neighbor's daughter-in-law had been wearing an especially thick gold bracelet. His father, meanwhile, complained in the background that he had seen a bottle of excellent liquor at a relative's home a few days earlier, but the relative would only let him look at it and refused to open it. Lu Xia understood immediately. The two of them kept saying he should not buy anything. In reality, they had already told him exactly what they wanted. He promised, "Mom, I'll get you a big gold bracelet, and whatever liquor Dad wants, I'll take care of that too." His mother replied, "Stop bragging. By the way, what exactly is your sister doing?" Lu Xia had spoken with his younger sister a few days earlier. He had tried to transfer her 20,000 yuan for living expenses. She absolutely refused to take it. Instead, she lectured him. "Brother, it isn't easy for you to make money either. Don't force yourself just to keep up appearances. I know you're probably still eating instant noodles every day." Later, Lu Xia learned that she was working part-time while attending school because she wanted to save money for a trip with her boyfriend. She repeatedly warned Lu Xia not to tell their parents. 2 weeks later, the company's product had made solid progress thanks to the team's efforts. Suyao reported that daily active users had passed 500, with retention at around 40%. That evening, the company held its annual party. Nearly 100 employees sat in a hotel banquet hall. Lu Xia happened to overhear a conversation. "I heard the grand prize at the gaming company next door is 500,000 yuan in cash. Our company isn't that big. If we get a good dinner, that's already decent," Suyao quietly told him. "Our budget is limited. We prepared some coffee vouchers and movie tickets." Lu Xia did not like that at all. Movie tickets? If word got out, what would happen to his image as an outrageously generous billionaire boss? Lu Xia walked straight onto the stage. "I just heard someone say that because our company is small, everyone should understand if the prizes aren't very good." He picked up the microphone. "Understand my ass. Why should my employees envy anyone else?" The entire hall immediately went silent. Lu Xia pointed at the screen. "Don't embarrass us by handing out things like movie tickets. Participation prizes. 80% of the employees will receive home electronics and shopping vouchers." The crowd started buzzing. He continued. "Third prize. 50 winners. The newest top-spec iPhone. If you don't want the phone, you can take the cash equivalent." People were already screaming below the stage. Second prize. 10 winners. Top-of-the-line Alienware computers. Or premium skincare and luxury gift sets of equal value. Chinemo, the head of technology, actually climbed onto his chair and cheered. Lu Xia raised a hand. "I'm not finished." First prize. A black luxury car appeared on the screen. 3 winners. High-end Audi models. The company covers all taxes and registration fees. The wine glass in Suyao's hand nearly slipped. That alone represented several million yuan in spending. But Lu Xia still was not finished. Finally, the super grand prize. Only one winner. A property ownership certificate appeared on the screen. A 2-bedroom apartment in a prime downtown location. Paid in full. Ownership transferred directly to the winner. The banquet hall was silent for 2 seconds. Then it exploded. Every employee stared at Lu Xia as if he were some kind of god. The system sounded. Host detected making a large-scale boast. Belief level among those present, 92%. Realization conditions satisfied. All prizes listed above have been generated by the system. Lu Xia nearly laughed out loud. So the system could be used like this too. An hour later, the entire annual party had turned into a wild prize drawing. One employee who won a car hugged Lu Xia and burst into tears on the spot. "Boss, I was planning to resign after New Year. Now I'm not leaving. I'll work here until I retire." The biggest prize, the apartment, went to a young receptionist. Her legs were trembling when she went on stage. "Thank you, Mr. Lu. From now on, I swear I'll guard the company entrance with my life." Standing nearby, Suyao looked at Lu Xia with an extremely complicated expression. At first she thought he had been casually making promises he could not possibly keep. She never expected every single prize to actually appear. After the drawing ended, Lu Xia noticed that the employees who had not won anything looked a little disappointed. How could a perfect annual party leave anyone unhappy? So he picked up the microphone again. "Everyone's having a good time tonight. I'll personally pay out an 8.888 yuan cash bonus to every employee here." The employees erupted in cheers. Lu Xia felt smug too. He got to play the generous boss. And the system would pay the bill. Perfect. Then his phone suddenly vibrated. A bank notification appeared. 3.800.000 yuan has been transferred out of your account. Lu Xiao's vision went dark. System, why did you take my money? The system answered calmly. The host explicitly used the phrase "I'll personally pay just now." This constitutes a voluntary gift made by the host himself. It does not fall within the scope of boast realization. Please choose your wording carefully in the future. Lu Xia nearly collapsed on stage. 3,800,000 yuan. He had just lost 3.8 million yuan for the privilege of hearing a roomful of employees cheer for their boss. Su Yao hurried over. Mr. Lu, why did your face suddenly turn so pale? Lu Xia gritted his teeth. I'm fine. I just suddenly realized. As long as everyone's happy, that's what matters. Money is only a worldly possession. Inside, his heart was bleeding. Videos from the annual party were soon uploaded online by employees. The comment sections blew up. Countless people tagged their own bosses. Come learn how it's done. Other companies are giving away apartments and cars. And you gave us a box of bruised apples? Others asked directly. Are you still hiring? Does the boss need a son-in-law? The university class group chat saw the videos too. A lot of people started asking Lu Xia whether there were any open positions. Of course. A few were bitter about it. They said being this flashy would eventually attract the attention of the tax authorities. But those comments were quickly drowned out by everyone else. After the annual party ended, Su Yao prepared to leave carrying the insulated tumbler she had won. Compared with the cars and apartment, her prize was indeed rather ordinary. Lu Xia suddenly felt a little guilty. How about I give you 5,000 yuan separately? Su Yao smiled. Mr. Lu, if you privately give money to your female assistant, if someone sees it, won't they assume there's something between us that we can't make public? Lu Xia quickly put his phone away. Then what do you want? Su Yao looked at him. If Mr. Lu really wants to make it up to me, take me with you when you go home for Chinese New Year. Lu Xia almost choked on his own saliva. Straight to meeting my parents? Su Yao, I'm a respectable man. Isn't this moving a little too fast? Su Yao laughed so hard she could barely stop. Then she put a map in front of him. What are you thinking? I just noticed that 90% of our routes home are the same. There are no tickets left. And driving 7 or 8 hours by yourself is exhausting. I can help you drive. Lu Xia finally understood. She only wanted a ride. And Lin Wan had said earlier that she wanted to ride with him too. Wait. They both wanted a ride? Didn't that mean he had 2 free drivers? Su Yao could drive the first half. Lin Wan the second half. He could sleep in the back seat. Perfect. Lu Xia agreed immediately. Su Yao had not expected him to say yes so quickly. In the end, she could only shake the insulated tumbler in her hand. Then I'll make tea for you on the road. Early the next morning, Lu Xia went out in advance to buy things to take home for Chinese New Year. His mother wanted a big gold bracelet. His father wanted good liquor. There were also plenty of relatives and friends back in the village. If he was going home, he could not show up with an empty trunk. He first went to a large tobacco and liquor shop. The moment he entered, he asked, "Boss, how much of your most expensive liquor do you have?" The owner immediately became enthusiastic. 5 cases just came in. 30 bottles total. Lu Xia frowned. That's all? The owner froze. 5 cases is not enough? Lu Xia nodded. Call around and get more. I want to fill the trunk of my G63. Also, give me 50 cartons of your best cigarettes. And I'll take all the vintage liquor you have here too. The smile slowly disappeared from the owner's face. Buddy, are you filming a short video prank? Where's the hidden camera? 2 groups have already come in this week claiming they wanted to buy my entire store. If you want to shoot prank videos, go to the supermarket next door. There are more people there. Lu Xia was speechless. I'm actually buying. The owner rolled his eyes. Do you know how much all that costs? What you just asked for alone is over 1,000,000 yuan. What? Does your family own a liquor business? Lu Xia did not explain. He simply opened his bank account and held the balance up in front of the man. The owner narrowed his eyes and started counting the digits. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. By the time he finished, his hands were trembling. His attitude changed completely. Mr. Lu, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't recognize who I was dealing with. Lu Xia put his phone away. Can you source the rest now? Yes. Of course. The owner immediately called every dealer he knew. Half an hour later, he had somehow pulled together more than 20 cases of high-end cigarettes and liquor for Lu Xia. The G63's trunk was almost completely packed. After paying, Lu Xia drove to a long-established gold jewelry store downtown. Chinese New Year was approaching, so the shop was crowded. He walked up to the gold bracelet counter. The sales associate asked warmly, "Sir, are you looking for a bracelet?" Lu Xia nodded. "Show me something heavier. This one looks pretty good." While he lowered his head to browse, a hand suddenly reached in from the side. The woman's nails were painted dark red. She pointed at a designer bracelet in the center of the display case. "That one. Take it out. I want to see it." Lu Xia turned his head. A woman with an exaggerated hairstyle, expensive clothes, and overpowering perfume stood beside him. Next to her was a thinning-haired man. The man looked to be in his 40s. An absurdly thick gold chain hung around his neck, and he held the latest model smartphone in one hand. The woman pointed at the bracelet in the case. "Wrap this one up for me first." The sales associate hesitated. "Ma'am, this gentleman is looking at it right now." The woman glanced at Lu Xia. Ordinary down jacket, sneakers, not even a shopping bag in his hands. She smiled immediately. "Looking at it doesn't mean he's buying it. Besides, it's almost New Year. The store is packed. Whoever pays first gets it." The man beside her smiled too. "If baby likes it, we'll buy it. It's just a bracelet." "How much?" The sales associate checked the tag. "This is a limited designer piece. It weighs about 120 grams, including the workmanship fee. Today's price is around 117.000 yuan. The man's hand, which had been holding his phone, visibly paused, but the woman had already reached out. "What's 120.000 yuan? My husband made over 8 million yuan on construction projects last year." Then she deliberately looked at Lu Xia. For some people, spending 20 or 30,000 on a bracelet for an elderly parent at New Year is already pretty filial. Lu Xia said nothing, because the woman suddenly looked familiar. The next second, she recognized him too. "Wait, are you Lu Xia?" Lu Xia looked up. "You know me?" The woman covered her mouth and laughed. "It really is you. I'm Zhou Qian." Lu Xia finally remembered. They had been classmates in elementary school. As children, they had even sat one in front of the other. Later, Zhou Qian's family moved to the county town, and they had not been in touch for many years. Zhou Qian looked him up and down. "I heard you've been delivering food in the city ever since you graduated from college. Did you suddenly get rich?" Lu Xia answered casually. "I'm doing all right." Zhou Qian laughed even harder. "You still love to brag. Just like when we were kids. A couple of days ago, I heard people in the village saying your mother has been telling everyone you make 10 million yuan a year. I even told my husband. That Lu Xia has always had a big mouth." Lu Xia. He suddenly felt that the system had not chosen him without reason. The man beside her asked, "Your classmate?" "Ah, Mom." Zhou Qian hooked her arm through the man's. "My husband, Zhao Mingyuan. He's in the building materials business in the county. He just landed 2 municipal projects this year." Zhao Mingyuan gave a casual nod. His expression clearly said, "I know who you are now. You don't need to know who I am." The sales associate looked awkward. "So, this bracelet," Zhou Qian immediately said. "I'll take it. Run the card." The smile on Zhao Mingyuan's face stiffened. "Baby, why don't we look around a little more? This design is kind of dated." Zhou Qian's expression darkened. "Didn't you just say I could buy whatever I liked?" Several nearby customers had already started looking over. Zhao Mingyuan had backed himself into a corner and could only take out a bank card. First attempt. Transaction declined. Second attempt. Insufficient funds. The air suddenly went quiet. Zhao Mingyuan's face turned bright red. "It's the bank's transaction limit. I'll use another card." Zhou Qian looked embarrassed too. "Honey, it's only 120.000 yuan. Didn't that 8 million yuan project payment just come in?" Sweat appeared on Zhao Mingyuan's forehead. "The project funds are in the company account. How can I just move corporate funds into a personal account?" Lu Xia had not planned to say anything, but Zhou Qian suddenly glared at him. "What are you laughing at?" Lu Xia looked innocent. "I'm not laughing. The corner of your mouth is up. I remembered something happy." "What?" "My mom is about to get a gold bracelet." "Zhou Qian." Zhao Mingyuan gritted his teeth. "If you're so capable, you buy it." Lu Xia nodded. "That's what I came here to do." He turned to the sales associate. "I don't want this one." Zhou Qian immediately sneered. "I knew it. Over 100,000 yuan? You could sell yourself and still. What I mean is, it's too light." Lu Xia pointed at the counter. "What's the heaviest bracelet you have in the store?" The sales associate froze. The heaviest? The manager had already noticed the commotion and hurried over. Sir, we have a collector-grade set of traditional crafted gold jewelry in the upstairs safe. It includes a bracelet, necklace, earrings, and ring as a complete set. The total weight is close to 1 kilogram. Because of the craftsmanship, we don't sell the pieces separately. The price is roughly, he hesitated, more than 2 million yuan. The area instantly went quiet. Lu Xia nodded. Bring it down. Zhou Qian burst out laughing. 2 million? Lu Xia, you're taking the act too far now. Do you even know how much 2 million yuan is? Lu Xia thought seriously for a moment. No. Before this, the most I'd ever had in my bank account was a little over 3,000 yuan. Someone nearby almost laughed. Zhou Qian rolled her eyes even harder. See? You finally admit it. But Lu Xiao's next sentence was, so now that I have money, I really am having trouble adjusting. The manager brought the set down. The light gleamed across the gold. Even someone who knew nothing about jewelry could tell the workmanship was extraordinary. The manager said, the full set is 2.38 million yuan. Lu Xia looked at it. Not bad. It should look good on my mom. Zhou Qian folded her arms. Go ahead. Swipe the card. I'll stand right here and watch. Lu Xia took out his card. Beep. Payment successful. No hesitation. 2,380,000 yuan. Paid in full. Zhou Qian's smile disappeared. Zhao Mingyuan's eyes changed too. You really got rich? Lu Xia put away his card. Didn't my mom already tell everyone? I make 10 million yuan a year. Zhou Qian blurted out. You can't spend money like this even if you make 10 million a year. Lu Xia was about to explain when the manager suddenly noticed the car key in his hand. A Mercedes G63? Combined with the effortless 2 million plus purchase he had just made, the manager became even more respectful. Mr. Lu, our group also offers private jewelry customization. If you ever need anything in the future. Lu Xia waved a hand. I'm just buying some ordinary New Year gifts. No need to make it so complicated. Ordinary? Just buying? New Year gifts? Several nearby customers had very interesting expressions. At that moment, the system spoke. Multiple individuals detected believing that the host's financial strength far exceeds the 10 million yuan level. Some individuals estimate the host's net worth at no less than 1 billion yuan. Belief level. 57%. Lu Xia's eyes lit up. Here it comes. He suddenly looked at Zhao Mingyuan. Mr. Zhao is in building materials? Zhao Mingyuan's attitude was obviously more polite now. Just a small business. Lately, I mainly supply urban complex developments and logistics parks. Oh, Lu Xia said casually. My company is planning to build a few logistics parks this year too. Nothing too large. Maybe an initial investment of 10 billion yuan. Zhao Mingyuan. Zhou Qian. The manager. At least a dozen people around the counter turned to stare at him. The corner of Zhao Mingyuan's mouth twitched. 10 billion? Lu Xia nodded. For the first phase. If it goes well, we'll add another 20 or 30 billion later. He said it as naturally as could be. From his point of view, bragging was free. If it did not work, he could just pretend he had never said it. But Zhao Mingyuan fell silent. A young boss who could casually spend more than 2 million yuan on gold jewelry for his mother and drive a 3 million yuan G63. If that person claimed he was planning to invest 10 billion yuan, it sounded outrageous, but not completely impossible. Belief level. 51%. Realization conditions satisfied. Host's boast is being completed. 0 Degree Technologies' National Smart Logistics Infrastructure Plan has been generated. Phase 1 investment scale. 10 billion yuan. Funding sources. Long-term industrial funds, bank credit facilities, and partner capital. The host is not required to personally fund the entire investment. Lu Xia froze. The system could work like that too. Instead of simply handing him 10 billion yuan, it had automatically filled in the financing, funds, and partner capital. Wasn't that even more powerful than directly giving him money? Zhao Mingyuan's phone suddenly rang. He looked down at the screen and immediately straightened up. Someone had just forwarded a message in an industry chat group. 0 Degree Technology officially launches 10 billion yuan National Smart Logistics Network project. Publication time. 1 minute ago. Zhao Mingyuan slowly raised his head. Mr. Lu, the logistics parks you were talking about, are they part of 0 Degree Technology's project? Lu Xia was silent for 2 seconds. You get your news quickly. Zhao Mingyuan sucked in a breath. Zhou Qian hurriedly pulled out her phone and searched. The first result on the front page was the news story. She raised her head and looked at Lu Xia again. Her expression completely transformed. Lu Xia, we're all from the same village. If there are any projects later. Lu Xia accepted the box containing the gold jewelry. If there's something suitable in the future, we'll talk. Then he turned and left. Behind him, Zhou Qian stared at the gift box containing more than 2 million yuan worth of gold. Suddenly, fighting over that 120.000 yuan bracelet a few minutes earlier felt ridiculous. Lu Xia, meanwhile, had only one thought. He needed to get out of there fast. If he stayed any longer, he was afraid he might brag a gold mine into existence. 3 days before Chinese New Year's Eve, 6 in the morning, the G63 was parked downstairs from the company building. Lu Xia had packed the trunk completely full. Cigarettes, liquor, tea, health supplements, gold, a new laptop for his sister, a watch for his father. He had even bought a massage chair. As for how to fit a massage chair into the trunk, the system did not solve that problem for him. So in the end, he had to have the logistics company deliver it separately. Su Yao appeared pulling a silver suitcase. She was not wearing business clothes today. She had on an ivory down jacket, and her long hair was tied back simply, making her look less formidable than usual. Lu Xia stared at her for 2 seconds. Su Yao raised an eyebrow. What? Never seen an assistant in a down jacket before? No. Lu Xia opened the trunk. I'm wondering where your luggage is supposed to go. Su Yao looked at the completely stuffed trunk. Silence. Mr. Lu, are you going home for Chinese New Year? Or opening a supermarket in your village? My parents care about appearances. It's the first time I've made real money. I want them to be happy. Su Yao looked at the cigarettes and liquor. She did not make fun of him. Instead, she smiled faintly. That's nice. The two of them had just managed to squeeze her luggage into the back seat when a taxi pulled up. Lin Wan had arrived too. The instant she opened the door, she saw Lu Xia first. Then she saw Su Yao. The air froze for 2 seconds. Lin Wan. Why is she here too? Su Yao. Ms. Lin? What a coincidence. Lu Xia suddenly sensed danger. He just could not identify exactly where the danger was coming from. He took out the car key. Perfect. You two can take turns driving. I'll sleep in the back. Both women looked at him at the same time. Get lost. Half an hour later, Lu Xia sat obediently in the driver's seat. At last, he understood. Not everything in the world could be solved by the system, especially women. 7 hours later, the car entered the county town. Familiar buildings began appearing along the road. Lin Wan was visibly excited. That noodle shop up ahead is still there. We used to go there all the time in high school. Su Yao said mildly. So you two were classmates in high school? Lin Wan immediately answered. Not just high school. We've known each other since elementary school. Oh. Su Yao nodded. You've known each other that long and still never became a couple. Sounds like you really are better suited to being friends. Lin Wan instantly turned her head. Assistant Su. Aren't you just his assistant too? At least I get to see him every day. Lu Xia silently cracked the window open. Why had the car suddenly gotten so warm? Just then, his mother called. Where are you? We're in the county town. A burst of noise immediately came through the phone. Your oldest uncle and the others are all at the house. Your third uncle is here too. Take your time coming back. Don't drive too fast. Lu Xia laughed. Got it. His mother hesitated for a few seconds. Then she added in a lower voice. You really are driving a Mercedes home? Yeah. It really isn't rented. Mom, why are you thinking exactly like Wang Kai? His mother lowered her voice even further. Yesterday, your second aunt said you must have rented it just to save face. Her son bought an SUV for more than 200,000 yuan this year and has already driven around the village entrance 3 times. Lu Xia laughed. Then tell him to make one more lap. I'm almost there. 40 minutes later, at the entrance to the village, a white domestic brand SUV was parked by the roadside. More than a dozen people stood around it. Lu Xia's cousin Lu Chang, the son of his second aunt, leaned against the door smoking a cigarette. When young people buy cars these days, space is what matters. Mercedes and BMW are just overpriced status symbols. Mine cost 230.000 yuan. The features are better than cars costing 5 or 600,000. Someone asked. I heard Lu Xia bought a car too. Lu Chang laughed. My mom said he rented a Mercedes. It's New Year. I can understand it. When young people haven't done well out in the city, they're afraid of coming home and losing face. Then the low rumble of an engine came from the distance. A black G63 slowly approached. All dozen-plus people at the village entrance turned to look. Lu Chang froze. The vehicle stopped. Lu Xia opened the door and stepped out. Then two beautiful women with completely different temperaments emerged from the back. Lin Wan. Su Yao. The village entrance became so quiet that only the chickens could be heard. His second aunt was the first to rush over. Lu Xia, this car. How many days did you rent it for? Lu Xia almost laughed. I didn't rent it. I bought it. How much? I don't really remember. Around 3 million yuan. I think. The cigarette fell from Lu Chang's mouth. 3, how much? Su Yao stood nearby and naturally added. Close to 4 million yuan after taxes and fees. Mr. Lu doesn't pay much attention to expenses this small. Everyone in the village. Lu Xia turned to look at her. Su Yao's expression did not change. As your assistant, I have a duty to clarify the financial facts. Excellent assistant. If she knew how to talk like that, she could keep talking. His mother and father had already come running from the house. His mother looked at the car first, then at Lu Xia. Then she completely forgot about the car and smacked him on the arm. Why are you wearing so little? What? The city isn't cold? Lu Xia froze for a second. Then he smiled. Mom, I'm rich now. You still need long underwear when you're rich. After scolding him, his mother's eyes turned red. She reached up and touched his face. You've lost weight. Just 2 words. Lu Xia suddenly felt his nose sting. The system could give him 10 million yuan. It could give him luxury cars. A company. It could even rewrite reality. But all those days of eating instant noodles, delivering takeout, and riding through the rain after midnight had really happened. His father stood beside him and patted his shoulder. He did not say much. His voice was simply heavier than usual. It's good that you're home. Come inside first. At that moment, Lu Xia suddenly felt that all the showing off he had planned to do in the village was not quite as important anymore. Until his second aunt walked over. Sister-in-law, what exactly does your Lu Xia do now? His mother instantly straightened her back. He runs a company. What kind of company? His mother went silent. She did not actually know either. Lu Xia was about to explain when his father cut in first. A big company. A very big one. Several hundred employees. Lu Xia. So apparently his habit of bragging was hereditary. His second aunt clearly did not believe it. Several hundred employees? Wouldn't a company like that make tens of millions a year? His father thought about it. About that. The system immediately sounded in Lu Xia's head. Target individual. Father. Boasting behavior confirmed. Multiple nearby individuals present. Belief level insufficient. Lu Xia suddenly had an absurd thought. If the system could bind itself to his father, the old man might be even more dangerous than he was. Just then, Lu Chang answered a phone call. His expression suddenly turned ugly. What? The partnership is cancelled? Why? After hanging up, he looked at Lu Xia and hesitated for a long time. Brother, does your company handle transportation? A little. I recently took a fruit delivery order. The logistics company we were using suddenly backed out. It's more than 200 tons of goods. If they can't ship tomorrow, I'll owe hundreds of thousands in penalties. His second aunt immediately grabbed Lu Xiao's arm. We're family. You're so capable now. Help your younger cousin. A moment ago, she had still been saying he rented his car. Now Lu Chang had suddenly become his dear younger cousin. Lu Xia did not refuse. Lu Chang loved showing off. But he had never really done anything bad when they were kids. One year, when a group of boys from a neighboring village cornered Lu Xia, it was Lu Chang who brought people over to help him. Lu Xia took out his phone. Send me the address. Lu Chang froze. You can really solve it? Before 8 tomorrow morning, the trucks will arrive. If there aren't enough refrigerated trucks nearby, we'll dispatch them from the 3 neighboring cities. Lu Chang's mouth fell open. That many trucks, how much is that going to cost? Lu Xia said calmly. Our company has its own logistics network in this region. It did not. At least, it had not 5 seconds earlier. But Lu Chang already believed him. After all, the internet had just been flooded with news about Zero Degree Technology's 10 billion yuan logistics plan. Belief level has reached the required threshold. Reality realization beginning. Zero Degree Technology's Central China Regional Smart Logistics Network has been completed. Existing refrigerated vehicles. 1.280. Smart warehousing centers. 17. Regional partner drivers. 8.600. Lu Xia. Good lord. He had only been trying to dispatch a few trucks for his cousin. The system had filled in a logistics network covering half a province. At 7.40 the next morning, 23 refrigerated trucks were lined up neatly outside the village. The person in charge got out and went directly to Lu Xia. Mr. Lu. Per headquarters instructions, transportation needs involving agricultural products from your hometown are to receive top priority. Also, we found that the fruit from this area is very good. The regional company is preparing to sign a long-term purchasing agreement. Lu Chang was completely stunned. It had started as an order that was about to lose him money. Now not only had the shipment gone out, but he had also been pulled directly into Zero Degree Technologies' long-term supply chain. His second aunt never mentioned the word rented again. Instead, she started telling everyone she met, "I always knew that boy Lu Xia was going places." Lu Xia nearly sprayed out his tea when he heard it. The real public humiliation came at Chinese New Year's Eve dinner. The Lu family was a big clan. His oldest uncle, second uncle, third uncle, aunts, and their families filled 4 tables in total. After a few rounds of drinks, a distant uncle asked Lu Xia, "I heard you're running a tech company now. When young people start companies, they can't get too carried away. I know a businessman worth more than 2 billion yuan. He keeps an extremely low profile. I saw the video of your annual party too, giving away cars and apartments. If you burn money like that, your company will run into trouble sooner or later." Before Lu Xia could speak, his father was already unhappy. The boy earned his own money. How he spends it is his business. The distant uncle waved the hand. "Old Lu, I'm saying this for the boy's own good. I've met plenty of rich people. Real big bosses don't usually make a show of themselves the way he does." Just then, the television happened to switch to financial news. The anchor's voice came through. "Today, Zero Degree Technology announced the completion of a new round of strategic financing. Participants include several major industrial funds and international institutions. Following the financing round, the company's valuation has reached 68 billion yuan. The dinner tables went quiet. The television continued. Notably, founder Lu Xia continues to hold 100% of the company's voting rights and retains absolute control through a special equity structure. Based on publicly available information, the estimated value of his personal equity stake may exceed 50 billion yuan. His father's chopsticks froze in midair. His mother stared at the television. His second aunt's mouth fell open. The distant uncle's wineglass did not move. Everyone slowly turned toward Lu Xia. Lu Xia himself was stunned too. 50 billion? The system spoke blandly. The host has repeatedly claimed that the company is raising capital. The company's business has expanded rapidly in recent months. Public belief levels have continued to rise. Reality has been naturally completed. His mother was the first to recover. She reached over and twisted Lu Xia's ear hard. 50 billion? You told me you made 10 million a year? You dared hide something this big from your own mother? Lu Xia grimaced in pain. "Mom, that hurts." Only then did everyone else react. Nobody laughed at Lu Xia. Instead, they all stared at his mother. A boss worth 50 billion yuan came home and still got his ear twisted by his mother. Su Yao, sitting nearby, laughed openly for the first time without caring about maintaining her image. Lin Wan bent over laughing too. His father, meanwhile, quietly took out his phone. He opened the old classmates chat group that had barely 30 members. Then he sent a voice message. "Old John, didn't you ask yesterday what my son does? Nothing special. He just casually runs a 50 billion yuan company." After sending it, he put down the phone and raised his wineglass. Expression perfectly calm. Less than 10 seconds later, his phone started vibrating non-stop. His father could not suppress the corners of his mouth no matter how hard he tried. Lu Xia finally confirmed it. His love of showing off was absolutely hereditary. At midnight, fireworks rose outside the village. His younger sister, Lu Yu, finally made it back from the county town. The moment she got out of the car, she ran into the courtyard. "Brother!" Lu Xia had barely turned around when she threw her arms around him. "You really came home. Didn't you say work was busy? No matter how busy I am, I still have to come home." Lu Xia ruffled her hair. "I heard you've been working during winter break." His sister's expression changed. "Who told you? You were trying to hide it?" Lu Xia handed her a laptop bag. "New laptop. 2 keys have fallen off that broken one of yours." Lu Yu immediately shook her head. I don't want it. It's too expensive. You only just started making money. You'll have plenty of places to spend it later. Lu Xiao looked at her and suddenly smiled. Your brother is worth 50 billion yuan now. Lu Yu rolled her eyes. There you go bragging again. The entire courtyard suddenly went quiet. Every relative looked at her with an extremely strange expression. Lu Yu froze. What? His father held up a recording of the financial news for her. 3 minutes later, Lu Yu looked up. Brother, did you rob a bank? Lu Xia, definitely his real sister. Confirmed. That night, Lu Xia called his parents into a room. He placed the gold jewelry in front of his mother. He put the good liquor in front of his father. His mother kept complaining. Why did you buy something this heavy? Aren't you afraid someone will rob me if I wear it outside? Return it. Return it. But she had already secretly slipped the bracelet onto her wrist. His father was even more direct. He held the bottle in his hands and stared at it for 10 minutes. He simply could not bring himself to open it. Lu Xiao was helpless. Drink it. His father shook his head. Liquor this good. We'll save it for your wedding. Lu Xiao froze. His mother immediately looked toward the door. I think Juan is pretty good. We've known her family forever. His father lowered his voice. That girl Sue is good too. She's educated, steady, and she kept putting food in your bowl during dinner. His mother glared at him. What do you know? A childhood sweetheart is more reliable. Lu Xia hurriedly stood up. Something came up at the company. I need to go outside and take a call. Sit down. Both his parents spoke at the same time. For the first time in his life, Mr. Lu, worth 50 billion yuan, found himself trapped in his own home and being interrogated about marriage prospects. The system remained completely silent. Apparently, even it could not handle this sort of thing. After Chinese New Year, zero-degree technology entered a true period of explosive growth. Its smart scheduling system was the first to go live. Citywide delivery routes that had once taken dozens of minutes to calculate were reduced to seconds. Empty mile rates in transportation dropped rapidly. Regional warehousing efficiency rose dramatically. Chen Mo led the technical team in continuing to upgrade the algorithms. Su Yao handled commercialization. Linda handled the capital markets. 6 months later, zero-degree technology's valuation passed 300 billion yuan. 1 year later, the company expanded into Southeast Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. For the first time, Lu Xia truly realized something. The system could make his boasts become reality. But if the company was going to keep running, it still needed real people. And he began learning how to actually be a boss. He no longer spent every meeting saying nothing but empty nonsense. At night, he secretly studied financial statements. He learned equity structures. He learned supply chains. Whenever he did not understand something, he asked Su Yao. The first time Su Yao found him still in the office at 2 in the morning, she was clearly surprised. Mr. Lu, haven't you always said professional matters should be left to professionals? Lu Xiao looked at the screen. A boss doesn't have to be an expert, but he can't know nothing. Su Yao was silent for a few seconds. Then she placed a cup of coffee on his desk. Progress. Lu Xiao looked up. You praise your boss with one word? Then I'll make it more detailed. Su Yao said seriously. Compared with when I first met you, you look much more like a normal boss now. Get out. Su Yao left with a smile. When she reached the door, she suddenly stopped. Lu Xia, not Mr. Lu. For the first time, she called him by his name. Lu Xia looked up. Su Yao had her back to him. Don't push yourself too hard. The system, in the company, no matter how big it becomes, wasn't built in a day. Then she left. Lu Xia stared at the doorway for a long time without speaking. It was also from that day that he first began to wonder. If there were no system, would Su Yao still stay by his side? What truly put zero-degree technology on the world stage was the Global Logistics Summit in the company's second year. Transworld Group, one of the world's top 3 logistics corporations, publicly questioned the authenticity of zero-degree technology's data. Its CEO even said directly at a press conference, a company that has existed for only 2 years cannot possibly possess world-leading scheduling technology. Their so-called intelligent network is nothing more than a bubble inflated by capital. The news reached China. The internet exploded. A lot of people were furious. Plenty of others started predicting zero-degree technology's collapse. The company's shareholders and business partners all waited for Lu Xiao's response. Su Yao asked, "What are you going to say?" Lu Xiao leaned back in his chair. "How much is their company worth?" "About 170 billion US dollars. That expensive?" Yes. Then forget it. Suyao had just breathed a sigh of relief when Lu Xia added, I was going to buy them. The office went silent. Suyao stared at him. Are you serious? Just kidding. The next day, at the Global Logistics Summit, the Transworld CEO provoked him again in public. Mr. Lu, I've heard that there's a saying in China. Young people like to dream. I'm curious. When do you think zero-degree technology will surpass Transworld? Every camera turned toward Lu Xia. More than 1,000 industry executives sat below the stage. The event was being live-streamed worldwide. Lu Xia had originally planned to answer with a simple someday, but the smile on the other man's face irritated him. So Lu Xia smiled too. Surpass you? I've never thought about surpassing you. The other man spread his hands. Then it seems you're still realistic. Lu Xia continued. Because our board is discussing acquiring you. The entire hall went silent. The next second, laughter broke out everywhere. A company valued at less than half of Transworld was going to acquire Transworld? The Transworld CEO laughed openly. Mr. Lu, that's the funniest joke I've heard all year. Do you have enough funding? Lu Xia replied calmly. I don't need to pay for it alone. At least 20 global capital institutions are willing to support us. And the profitability of your core businesses has deteriorated over the last 2 years. If we launch a takeover bid, your board may not reject it. Some people in the audience stopped laughing. Because the second half of what he said was true. Transworld really did have internal problems. And after all the impossible things Lu Xia had pulled off over the previous 2 years, the market had developed a strange perception of him. The outrageous things this man said somehow had a habit of becoming reality. Belief level among those present, 42%. Not enough. The CEO sneered. 20 capital institutions? Which 20? Lu Xia smiled faintly. You'll know tomorrow. After the press conference, the entire world began discussing that sentence. Financial media outlets analyzed it frantically. Some called it publicity. Some believed zero-degree technology had secretly secured backing from sovereign wealth funds. Others dug up Lu Xia's entire history. 10 million yuan annual income. 10 billion yuan logistics plan. Tens of billions in valuation. International expansion. The things people had once dismissed as boasting had all come true. One after another, belief levels across the global internet began to shift. 44%, 47%, 49%. At 2 in the morning, the system notification finally sounded. Overall belief level has reached 50.3%. Boast becomes reality. Reality is being rationalized so that 20 major capital institutions support zero-degree technology's acquisition of Transworld. The next morning, Suyao rushed into the office without even knocking. Lu Xia. Something happened. Lu Xia jumped. Did the company blow up? 27 institutions. What? 27 of the world's top funds and banks contacted us on their own. Combined credit facilities, acquisition loans, and industrial funds. The total support exceeds 200 billion US dollars. Lu Xia went silent. Suyao went silent too. Half a minute later, she asked, when exactly did you contact all of them? Lu Xia turned his gaze toward the window. 45 degrees. Why? It makes me look more mysterious from this angle. 3 months later, zero-degree technology formally launched a hostile takeover. At first, Transworld's board strongly resisted, but as the company's financial problems were exposed one after another, shareholders began to waver. In the end, zero-degree technology completed the world's largest logistics industry acquisition of the year through a combination of cash and stock. On the day the deal was signed, the CEO who had publicly mocked Lu Xia sat across from him with an extremely ugly expression. Lu Xia pushed the contract over. You asked me when we would surpass you. Now you have your answer. The man clenched his jaw. You won. Lu Xia shook his head. No. You work for zero-degree technology now too. We're colleagues. Welcome aboard. That sentence hurt more than any victory speech could have. But the man had no way to argue. After the acquisition, zero-degree technology's valuation exceeded 2 trillion yuan. For the first time, Lu Xia entered the top 10 on the global rich list. Wang Kai saw it all in the news. Nobody in the university group chat dared mock Lu Xia anymore. Someone posted a screenshot of the global billionaires ranking. Lu is 8th now, worth more than 100 billion US dollars. 1 minute later, Wang Kai left the group chat. Nobody knew why. In fact, it was simple. He could not take it anymore. At the class reunion, He had still been accusing Liu Xia of renting a G63. 2 years later, Liu Xia was buying a Fortune Global 500 company. How was anyone supposed to compete with that? With what? And who could have imagined that it still was not over? In the third year, global competition over AI infrastructure erupted. Zero-degree technology's smart logistics system began expanding into urban management, supply chain finance, and energy scheduling. But this time, Liu Xia encountered a real crisis. Several North American technology giants formed an alliance. They tried to exclude zero-degree technology from global technical standards. Their stated reasons sounded respectable, but everyone knew the truth. Zero-degree technology was growing too fast. They were afraid. At the board meeting, Linda's expression was grave. If the new standards framework passes, we'll face restrictions in several overseas markets. Chinemo slammed the table. They can't beat us. So now they're changing the rules. Suyao looked at Liu Xia. This time, money alone won't solve it. Everyone waited for his decision. Liu Xia remained silent for a long time. Then he finally spoke. Then we won't join their standard. We'll create our own. The conference room went silent. Liu Xia continued. And I believe, within 3 years, our standard will become the most widely used intelligent supply chain standard in the world. Even Chinemo thought that was a little too ambitious. Mr. Liu, 3 years. Liu Xia looked at him. No confidence? Chinemo clenched his teeth. We have confidence. The other executives spoke up too. We do. Let's do it. Belief level among those present, 78%. Conditions satisfied. But this time, the system did not immediately announce success. Instead, a new message appeared. Detected boast involving the global industrial structure. Standard reality realization authority is insufficient. System upgrade conditions have been met. Host's cumulative realized asset scale has reached the requirement. Cumulative number of believers exceeds 100 million. Boast to reality system upgrading to LV.2. Liu Xia's mind sharpened. New LV.2 rules. When a boast involves major fields such as global industry, technology, or finance, the following conditions must also be met. 1. The claim must be logically achievable. 2. A real industrial foundation must exist. 3. Sufficiently broad social trust must be obtained. The system will no longer directly provide the final result. The system will instead complete the key opportunities required to achieve that result. Liu Xia suddenly understood. Before, the system simply put things directly into his hands. Now it was different. At the level of becoming the richest man in the world, one sentence alone could not be enough. The system could give him opportunities, but whether he won in the end would depend on him. Half a year later, the zero-degree technology team launched an open intelligent supply chain protocol. There were no high licensing fees. Small and mid-sized businesses could connect at low cost. More and more countries, logistics companies, and manufacturers joined. 1 year later, more than 100,000 companies worldwide were connected. By the second year, more than 600,000 were connected. The North American alliance began to fracture internally. They discovered that zero-degree technology standard was not being forced onto the market through policy. It was simply too cheap, too efficient, too easy to use. Companies that had once rejected zero-degree technology began quietly connecting to it. Before the 3-year deadline had even arrived, more than half of the world's cross-border intelligent logistics nodes had adopted the zero-degree protocol. A reporter interviewed the former leader of the alliance. Do you regret excluding zero-degree technology back then? The man remained silent for a long time. Our biggest mistake was believing that we could decide the future. The news reached China. Cheers erupted throughout the company building. Chinemo opened champagne right inside the technology department. Suyao, however, came alone to Liu Xia's office. We did it. Liu Xia stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows. Yeah, why don't you look happy? I am happy. Then why do you look like you're about to retire? Liu Xia turned around. I'm thinking. How much is the company worth now? Suyao was silent for a few seconds. Based on the latest private market transaction prices, roughly 780 billion US dollars. Liu Xia inhaled sharply. That much? Suyao stared at him speechlessly. You're the owner. Could you show your own assets even a little basic respect? So what am I globally now? Third. Liu Xia frowned. Only third? Suyao. Human desire really was endless. 3 years ago, this man had only a few hundred yuan in his bank account. Now he was complaining that third richest in the world was too low. The real battle for the title of world's richest person came in the fourth year. That year, zero-degree technologies, new energy transportation, smart warehousing, AI scheduling, and satellite supply chain businesses all exploded at the same time. The company's valuation approached $1 trillion. Every day, global financial media calculated when Liu Xia would take the top spot. Then the world's richest man, Eric Watson, gave a public interview. A reporter asked him, "Are you worried Liu Xia will surpass you?" Watson smiled. "The young man is very talented. But wealth rankings aren't a sprint. Zero-degree technology is overvalued. For at least the next 5 years. He won't surpass me." The interview spread around the world almost immediately. Chinese netizens were not happy. The company's employees were not happy either. Even the old men playing chess at the entrance to Liu Xia's village were not happy. His father forwarded the interview to Liu Xia with a voice message. "Son, is this foreign old man looking down on you?" Liu Xia did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Dad, he might not be wrong." His father immediately objected. "How is he not wrong? When you were a kid, I said you could come in first on an exam. Didn't you do it once?" Liu Xia, "That was first from the bottom of the class." His father, "First is first, isn't it?" That logic was somehow impossible to argue with. A week later, at the World Economic Forum, Liu Xia and Watson appeared on stage together for the first time. The host deliberately asked, "Mr. Liu, when do you think you'll become the richest person in the world?" The entire audience went silent. The question was openly provocative. Watson smiled as he looked at him. Liu Xia had originally planned to keep a low profile. Then he suddenly remembered his father's words. "First is first, isn't it?" So he lifted the microphone. "When?" "This year." The room erupted. Even Watson looked surprised. The host pressed him. "This year? You're sure?" Liu Xia nodded. "Before the end of this year. If I'm still not the richest person in the world by then it only means I didn't work hard enough this year." The story instantly became a global headline. Some mocked him. Some looked forward to seeing it happen. But even more people began analyzing the possibility seriously. Because before saying this, he had already achieved too many impossible things. Global belief level, 31%. Still far from enough. But this time, Liu Xia did not wait for the system to help him. After returning to China, he called a board meeting. Only 3 words appeared on the screen. Top spot plan. Chinemo stared. "We're really going for number 1? Linda took a deep breath. "The gap is still more than $200 billion. Su Yao looked at him. "You're sure?" Liu Xia nodded. "I used to brag. Because I had nothing. All I could do was brag. Now it's different." He looked around the conference room at the people who had stayed with him the whole way. "We have people. We have technology. We have a market. And we have money. So why shouldn't we try?" This time, there was no system notification. But everyone stood up anyway. "Let's do it." Over the next 6 months, Zero-Degree Technology completed the restructuring of its new energy transportation group. Its smart warehousing business went public independently. Its global satellite logistics network entered commercial operation. The AI supply chain platform opened an enterprise edition. The company's revenue and profit both surged. Capital markets began valuing it all over again. In September, Liu Xia rose to second place globally. In November, the gap shrank to $40 billion. December 28th, the final 3 trading days of the year, Zero-Degree Technology's core subsidiary released its annual data. Global markets erupted. The stock price soared. At 11:47 p.m. Beijing time, the global billionaires ranking refreshed. Number 1. Liu Xia. Personal net worth, $392 billion. Number 2. Eric Watson. $386 billion. A lead of only $6 billion. But first was first. Nobody in the office spoke. Liu Xia stared at the screen. It suddenly felt unreal. 5 years ago, he had only 356.5 yuan in his bank account. He had been worried about a few hundred yuan in rent. 5 years later, he had become the richest person in the world. His phone rang. The first person to call was not a financial reporter, not an investment institution, not a government official, not one of his executives. It was his mother. The moment he answered, her first words were, "Son, the internet says you're number 1 in the world now?" Liu Xia smiled. "Yeah, richest person in the world." The other end was silent for 2 seconds. Then his mother asked, Are you coming home for Chinese New Year this year? Lu Xia froze. His mother continued. No matter how much money you have, you still need to come home and eat with us. Those 2 bottles of liquor your father hid last year still haven't been opened. He said he was waiting for you to come home. Lu Xia's eyes suddenly felt hot. He walked to the window. The entire city glittered with lights. Countless media outlets were reporting his name. But at that moment, the thing the richest man in the world wanted most was simply to go home. I'm coming. I'll come back earlier this year. His mother brightened immediately. That's good. And another thing. Don't buy anything this time. We don't need anything at home. Lu Xia laughed. Got it. After he hung up, Su Yao was standing in the doorway without him noticing when she had arrived. Congratulations, Mr. Lu, the world's richest man. Lu Xia turned around. That's it? Just congratulations? What do you want to hear? Lu Xia thought for a moment. For example, Mr. Lu is young and accomplished, handsome, a business genius, #1 in the world? Su Yao laughed. I can reluctantly cooperate with the first few. The last one doesn't need bragging anymore. It's already true. Lu Xia laughed too. They stood quietly for a while. Then Su Yao suddenly asked, this Chinese New Year, do you still need a driver? Lu Xia looked at her. Last year, you said we were just going the same way. What about this year? Su Yao was silent. A few seconds later, she said softly, this year, we're not going the same way. Then you're still coming? Yes. Why? She raised her head and looked at him. Last year, it was an assistant getting a ride from her boss. This year, I want a different role. Lu Xia's heartbeat suddenly sped up. Naturally, the system chose that exact moment to speak. Detected that the host is about to boast. Host is advised to speak with caution. Lu Xia cursed it silently. Shut up. I don't need you this time. He looked at Su Yao. Then when we get back, I'll introduce you to my mom. How will you introduce me? Lu Xia took a deep breath. My girlfriend. Su Yao's ears visibly turned red. But she deliberately asked. Does that count as bragging? Lu Xia smiled. I don't know. Depends whether you believe it. Su Yao looked at him. Belief level. 100%. The system was silent for 2 seconds. Then it spoke. Boast detected. Target individual's belief level. 100%. However, this statement does not require reality realization, because the other party has already agreed. Lu Xia froze. Su Yao finally burst out laughing. Outside the window, the entire city shone brilliantly. On his phone, his name still occupied the #1 spot on the global rich list. But Lu Xia suddenly felt that if the version of himself from 5 years ago, the man with only 356.5 yuan left, sitting in a rental room eating leftovers, could see today, what he would envy most probably would not be the hundreds of billions of dollars. It would be that his parents were still waiting for him to come home. His sister still called him brother. There was a group of people at the company willing to go crazy with him. And there was a woman standing in front of him who believed every word he said. Of course, the story did not end there. The next morning, while reporters around the world were still discussing the newly crowned richest man alive, Lu Xia was already sitting in the car heading back to his hometown. His father was waiting for him at the village entrance. His second aunt had been standing by the roadside for 2 hours. Lu Chang had brought a group of young people from the village who wanted to ask Lu Xia for advice about starting businesses. And the distant uncle who had kept saying that real rich people are always low-key the previous year had even prepared a notebook in advance. There were also several unfamiliar business owners at the village entrance. Nobody knew how they had heard that the world's richest man was returning to the village that day. They had arrived at 4 in the morning. Lu Xia looked at the dense crowd ahead. He fell silent. Su Yao sat in the passenger seat. Mr. Lu, why did you stop? Lu Xia slowly leaned back in his seat. I suddenly have a bad feeling. About what? This Chinese New Year probably isn't going to be peaceful. Just then, the system's voice sounded again. Detected that the host has completed the phase objective. World's richest person. Conditions for Boast to Reality System LV.3 upgrade are now open. New world-level authorities will soon be unlocked. Notice, wealth is not the destination. Next stage evaluation criterion. Influence the world. Lu Xia narrowed his eyes. A few seconds later, he smiled. Let's go. Su Yao looked at him. Where? Lu Xia started the car. The black G63 slowly headed toward the small village where he had been born. Home. For Chinese New Year. As for the world, that could wait until after New Year's Eve dinner.